Hello there. Thank you for joining me on today. I'm excited about you being here. Thank you for inviting someone else. We're going to talk about the narcissist threat. I really, really appreciate you. Many of you have written me and say that I'm afraid if they threaten us. Is that threat volatile? Some cases it is, and we want to talk about that tonight. A lot of times the narcissist may threaten you to bring you under greater control, especially if they feel like you're getting out of control. Or the narcissist may threaten you if you challenge them with a behavior mode and to throw you off. The narcissist may threaten you. So we'll talk about that. And I want your views, I want your conversations, because some of you has actually experienced the threat of the narcissist. And some of you have actually had the narcissist to carry out that threat. So let me know if you hear me, if you can hear me fine on this. Device. So let's talk about this. Good morning. It is about 1:45 a.m. almost in the great metropolis of Washington State and Seattle. And I want to know where you are and where you are viewing me from. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining me. Hopefully you can hear me. There you go. I think that is better. Thank you for joining me. Let's invite someone on board. Let's invite someone on board. Thank you very much. There you are. So we are on live here. And one thing that I want to talk about, which is so very important, and I know many of you, when you wrote me to ask questions about this, many of you were very, very, very concerned, and quite naturally so. It's a title or a conversation piece where you should be concerned. You were saying, is the narcissist able to carry out their threats? Some of them are, and some of them they may use it as a mean to bring you back into control. Because when you start to be too vocal, when you start to be where you want them to be more responsible for their action, then what the narcissist would do is threaten you. They would threaten you to leave. They may threaten you to withhold finances, to withhold sex. They may threaten you that they're no longer going to talk with you, or they'll threaten you with a smear campaign. So the narcissist, hello there, shush no more. God bless you. Thank you for joining me. Shush no more. I want to make you. We are on Clubhouse. Those of you who know about Clubhouse, please join us on Clubhouse. Thank you for coming in. God bless you. Hey, Laphilia. Um, I'm trying to see how I can make you. There you go. A moderator. Hello there. How are you? Thank you for joining me on tonight. Uh, what is that? The elect of the living God. Ooh, boy, what an insignia. Thank you so much. We are excited. Vikita, could you give me the magnifying glass over there? Thank you so much for joining us. We've been talking about the threat of the narcissist. Many of you have been threatened by the narcissist, and you're afraid. You're wondering, are they able to carry out that threat? I want to know in the comments section that you have been threatened by them, and what did you think and what has happened? How long has it been? Some of you, the narcissist, actually carried out that threat. Hello there, Sharima and Laphilia. How are you? God bless you. I'm excited about you being with me. Hello there, Donna. Hello there, Isme. And Gail, God bless you. I think that Esma, I know probably tearing up your name. There you go. Those of you that want to join me on Clubhouse, please feel free. On Clubhouse, it gives voice where we can hear some of the things that you're saying. And some of you have a testimony and you want someone to hear that testimony. We want to hear your testimony. We want to hear your experience or some of the things that you're going through. Some of the people that in the room of Clubhouse has went through some of the things that you've been through and they made it. We have a few in Clubhouse and we want to hear them. Shush no more. We will love to hear you. She's very experienced and going through and went through some things. So we're excited about it. What is a threat? You know, many of you said, I've been threatened by the narcissist and I'm afraid. He's acting different. Some of you said the narcissist is a little fidgety since he's threatened you or since she's threatened to leave. And the female may threaten to leave you, threaten to have an affair, threaten to divorce you, threaten to take the kids away so you will never see the kids, or to say you're an unfit parent, or they'll say that you have abandoned them or you're doing something. The female, the male may threaten you to leave you, stop supporting you. They may threaten you with a smear campaign. They may even threaten you with violence. I would never let you have anyone else. You know, if you leave me, I'm going to hurt you or hurt them, or I'm going to kill you or kill them. And sometimes the narcissist puts that threat on you because, excuse me, there you go. Shush no more, making you a moderator so you can moderate the room for me. Shush no more. It is good to have you on board. Thank you so much for joining us. And those of you that are on YouTube, you can let me know whether you can hear them because we want them loud enough where you can hear them. Shush no more. Could you unmute your mic and greet everybody that is on board?
Oh, Apostle Helen, you have made me extremely nervous.
Oh.
I'm not used to being a moderator, but goodness me, thank you so much for having trust in me. And you will probably have to replace me when someone with more experience comes. But the fact that you have invited me up, I'm so grateful.
You are so welcome, and I think you're going to do a great job. Those that are on YouTube, we want to hear your comment. If you can join me on Clubhouse, please join me. Vikita? Vicky. Okay. So, the effects of the living word, Shush No More on YouTube says, I'm only a month apart. She said, and he disappeared completely after he realized I knew who he was. She said, and watching them spiritually, she said, they poisoned me and been doing witchcraft behind the scenes. Oh, that's tremendous. Okay, good, good. Thank you. The effects of the living word. You know, when you're dealing with a narcissist that's dealing with witchcraft, it's a totally different dynamics because you're dealing naturally and spiritually. You're dealing with their character naturally, all of the signs of who they are. And then spiritually, you're dealing with another whole model because there's a spiritual involvement when there's witchcraft. And they are manipulating beyond your natural form, even though they're manipulating your natural senses, your natural ability, what you are seeing. There's a lot of gaslighting in that. And when the narcissist threaten you, especially when they threaten you with witchcraft, they're going to take your mind. They're going to make sure that everything you touch is cursed. They're going to make sure nothing works for you. That is threats. They're going to make sure that everybody turns against you if you don't do what they say. And see, that is another form of control. And shush no more, all of this is about control. Those of you that are on Clubhouse, please feel free to raise your hand. Shush no more will bring you up to the forum. Shush No More, when they raise their hand, if you look at the bottom, there would be a hand raised sign, or we have a number, and we will bring them up. Like there is a number right there at the bottom. Let's see who that is, and let's bring them up so that we can hear their testimony. Because a threat, like I said, I was going to read that, the definition of a threat, because many of you have been threatened. Let's read what a threat is, because sometimes people are saying, well, that's just them. They're just talking. But I don't think you should ever take a threat lightly. And sometimes you don't know the class of narcissists. When you have the class of narcissists, like a malignant narcissist or overt narcissist, they all can be pretty dangerous. And then you have the school of narcissists. This is when they are a lesser narcissist, a mid-grade narcissist, or a greater narcissist, which they call the ultra narcissist. And the effects of the living word said, yep. She said, they delayed me a long time. She said, but finally had my breakthrough. She said, everything already turned around on them. People are seeing who they are really now. That is so good, because that means the mask is falling off. We have Gail Shush No More. So could you welcome Gail for us? And we want to hear what Gail has to say. And then after that, I want to read the exact definition of what a threat is.
Oh, hello, Gail.
Oh,
Thank you for
okay.
joining. Apostle Helen, would you like to ask Apostle a question?
I just want to thank Apostle Helen for this opportunity. And I just thank God because I started watching your videos on YouTube through watching Dr. Karen Bryant. And actually, it helped open up my eyes. And I believe it was the Holy Spirit. Because I was away from the narcissist because I went away to go to school in the city where my sister lives to finish my internship. And I was only going away for 3 months. Little did I know that God was strategically placing me there because he was getting me out of the situation. And I had no idea. And I had to go back and forth because I have a son who lives in the other city and he had some health challenges. So I had a good excuse to go back. And
so is he the son of the narcissist, or he's from another?
No, he's
okay.
not. My children, we don't have any children together, thank God.
Okay.
And so I was able to leave. And I've been only gone, like physically moved, like in September. I was supposed to come back home. I went back home. And when I went back home, it was just real cold and indifferent, just crazy. Yeah. But I had to go back to the doctors. So where I was at and go with my son, he was having a health challenge. And while I was there, Holy Spirit started really dealing with me. I watched a video one day of Dr. Karen Bryant, and that video literally described my entire life. And from that point on, Holy Spirit just started dealing with me, and I made a decision to leave. But I had to be very strategic, and I couldn't say anything. And how I did it, I only let my very, very close friends that I trusted to pray around me, and I was able to come. I was able to get my things. And I only got my personal things, and he knew nothing about it. And when he did show up, he couldn't do anything because I had my mom with me and I had my daughter, and so he wasn't going to act out in front of anybody. But ever since I've been gone, it's just been so much. And now he's trying to fight me through the courts. And I've given him everything. I've left the house. First, I was wanting to, just split it, give me the equity out of the house. I'll go away. And it was always a back and forth until, God said, let it go. I let everything go, the house and everything, because I don't have any money to fight him. And so he got this lawyer that's trying to pick a fight with me.
So are you in the process of a divorce right now?
Yes, I am.
Okay. There is Rebecca Zahn. um, she's a lawyer and she specializes in narcissists. And go on YouTube and look her up. But I'm telling you what they usually do. They'll fight you, and weigh you out until your money is gone. And then the narcissist hit you. And he may threaten you that you're going to lose. He may threaten you that he's going to smear you and make it seem like you are an unfit mother, or even threaten you with bodily harm. So the threat of a narcissist, take it very seriously, because many of them carry it out. Some of them, especially the covert narcissists, and sometimes the somatic narcissists, may only threaten you. They use the threat to bring you back under control. But when you start to be threatened by a narcissist, it's all about control.
He's been very violent in our the 10 years we've been together,
Mm-hmm.
married 10 years,
Mm-hmm.
and a few times, every time I said that, well, let's just be over, or I'm leaving, he have he has tried to harm me. He's thrown things at me. Um, he has put his hands on me, and I knew, because I've seen him transforming. I realized he's a vulnerable covert narcissist, and he's had a lot of abuse. And even I had to come back this weekend to
Mm-hmm.
get my things out of storage. And nobody knows that I'm here but my mom and my dad. And when I got here, my dad began to tell me stories that he heard from other people, things that he went through as a young child. And I was like, I know some of the things he went through, and I'm sorry, but I can't do anything about it. So now he's like my uncle and my dad. He's got the flying monkeys, and so now it's like I have to cut off my family because he's been working on them.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing you have to watch, the flying monkey, especially the covert, because the covert is very charming and alluring. And they go to the vulnerable stage so they can get the sympathy. And then once they work on the emotions, they get hooked. They hook the prey. And that's when they start the smear campaign against you. I don't know why she left. I did everything I could for her. I loved her. And I believe there's somebody else. Just anything to take their attention away from them to you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
See, they want the negative attention to go to you, but then they tell you that you are not showing them any attention.
Yes.
So I am glad that you have obtained your freedom, and you continue to be very wise and undisclosed about what is going on with you.
Yeah. I only have a few. I'm glad I'm like 352 miles away from where I'm from, and this is my hometown where we lived. And I came back home to help take care of my dad, um, but I had to leave. But my daughter's still here with him, so
Okay.
I thank God that she's here to help him. But I had to get out of here.
Mm-hmm. You know what? And you continue to stay, because if you have been violated physically, it can really intensify. Because see, you are fuel that has left. Narcissists have a problem with losing the specimen or the supply, because a narcissist have a problem with losing because they always win. They have a sense of grandiosity and a sense of entitlement, so they feel nothing can leave them because they are so special, and that you should feel privileged to have them in your life. So why would you want to leave the best when you have been degraded and you have been devalued and you are under them? So it's hard for them to comprehend. That can be in a very dangerous position.
He's very injured, and so everybody, like,
Let
I've
me
run
make
across.
sure, Gail,
Yes.
that they can hear you on YouTube. On YouTube, can you hear them? Let me know that. Say yes. I have a young man that is on. Let me know that you can hear her. Let me know that you can hear her. Say yes if you can hear her. The elect of the living God. Let me know that you can hear her. because we want people to hear, especially when they are going through the threat zone. A lot of things have happened on that premises where they were threatened, and a lot of people didn't take them serious, and they were very serious. The covert narcissist was very serious about their threat. So Gail, we want you definitely to be very careful.
Thank you. I know that I could never, ever, ever go back to him. I know that he would literally kill me. I know that he would. He would actually harm me. I don't trust him even like right now. He's
Mm-hmm.
very angry. A friend tried to call and talk to him, and we were all friends together or whatever. But he and she says, I can hear the bitterness, I can hear the anger, and she says, "Oh, it's there." She said, I know it, and she says you can't go anywhere near him, and you be very careful going home. And so I have them like literally every prayer intercessors praying around me until I get back home. Me and my son are actually preparing to leave in the next 30-40 minutes on the highway because we have to drive back. But I decided to come back and get all of my things out of the storage that I had here, and so that I wouldn't have to come back here.
Mm-hmm.
And the only time I have to come back here is for court. And I'm praying that something works out with that as well. Um, but he got this lawyer, and she's sending me these emails, these nasty emails, arguing with, and there's not a fight because I've given up
Yeah,
everything.
but
I left
you don't
everything in
have
the
to.
house.
The only reason you're dealing with his lawyer because you need a lawyer, and let lawyer deal with lawyer. That will be the
Mm-hmm.
wisdom aspect instead of you dealing with the lawyer, because you can say something and you don't know the legal ramifications of what you're saying. And they know
Yes,
that you can be very vulnerable and it will be used against you. So you need a lawyer to converse with a lawyer. So Gail stopped talking to his lawyer and
I
use,
have.
okay, good. Use a lawyer to talk to a lawyer. And if you don't have any children with him, you don't have any property that you are negotiating over, let your lawyer now be your voice. Now you disengage, you go no contact, you disengage, and let legal aspect deal with legal aspect. Because any word, and you can be very vulnerable in those words.
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely. So the threat zone is very serious. We want to welcome Karen. Hello, Karen.
Aloha, everyone. I'm so glad I made it. Thank you, Lord.
Oh, I am
How are
so
you all
glad
doing?
we are doing great. You know, Karen, we are talking about the threat zone. Gail has an awesome testimony, and she told me that she learned about us through you.
I thought that voice, I thought that, oh, wow. God is awesome. I'm just an
Absolutely.
instrument. I'm not going to put these 33 years and just sit on them. I'm out there doing my very best to let people know. Oh, guys, it's midnight here. And I just looked at her picture. That's how day late and dollar short I was. Hi, yes, I know exactly who this is. Wonderful.
Absolutely. Well, Karen, we are also on YouTube, and we have those on YouTube that are commenting. And this young man has went through some things, but he said that God has really blessed him and God has brought him out of a situation. We're talking about the threat zone of the narcissist, what it means to be threatened by a narcissist, and how, based on the grade of the narcissist, because if it's a lower narcissist, they're going to act different from the mid-range narcissist and the greater narcissist. The greater narcissist is usually a thinker. They have enough power and control and experience that they have other people to do their work. The mid-grade narcissist can be reactionary, more, and even the lower grade narcissist can be reactionary, and they are more violent, the lower grade narcissists, because many of them are learning who they are. They have not adjusted or acclimated to their personality. They know their difference. The mid grade has come into some understanding of who they are. The greater narcissists definitely know who they are. They know their power, they know their manipulation, they know their impact, and they done had enough experience to go after your emotions, to go after your intellect, and eventually to go after your will to overthrow it. And when the mask drop and you start to challenge them, that's when the threat come in. And the devaluation usually come with the threat. The gaslighting usually come with the threat, and they even ghost you with the threat, or they may even discard you through the threat. But the discard, when they're threatening you, is not as intense because they want to work on you. They don't want to be absent from you. So they threaten to discard you. They threaten to ghost you. They threaten not to talk to you. They threaten not to have sex with you. They threaten you with finances. They threaten you with smear campaign. They threaten to come act a fool on your job. They threaten to take the kids away. They threaten you in court, like Gail is being threatened in court, and she has to be very, very, very inconspicuous when she comes to get her stuff. Now she's getting ready to leave, and she's very quiet about where she is and her leaving, her and her son. So what the narcissist is doing is working on her family. Is that right, Gail?
Yes, ma'am.
The smear campaign.
Yeah.
He's already started. So I found out from my cousin last night because my uncle just got out of having chemo and they had a gathering. And so my cousin, which is my uncle's daughter, we were in the kitchen kind of whispering, and I asked, she said, you know that he was over here taking care of the dog while dad was getting chemo. And I said, really? Mm-hmm. And so she says, yes. She said, and when he walked in the house, she said, I asked about you. And she said, he looked at me crazy and didn't say anything. She said, I didn't know you were gone. And she said, Dad told me that you were gone. And I said, yeah. And so I kind of like whispered a little bit. And she said, I knew something was wrong. And she said, he was looking crazy. She said, I didn't say nothing to my daddy, but I figured she's not going to leave her house and all her stuff unless something is going on. And I know you wasn't going to tell Dad that he's been violent. Has he been violent with you? And I said, yes. She said, because you know Daddy will go off, So it's like he's wooed my uncle who loves me dearly, and he would like kill for me. But he's like pulled the wool over his eyes.
But
And
see, if the fact that he's been at the house with your dad, you really need to pull away.
He hasn't been at my dad's, but my dad, when I got here, he told me a story about something he heard in the community, because we live in a small community, that how he was.
Okay, hold on, Gail. Let me make sure that YouTube is able to hear. Hey, Latrina, how are you? Thank you for joining us on today. Are you able to hear us? Let me know that you're able to hear. Okay, Latrina said yes, she's hearing. So continue, Gail.
Yes, he hadn't gotten over here because my dad didn't care for him anyways. But my dad has heard things that has happened to him when he was younger, and so these sad stories. So when I get here, the other day, Friday, my dad tells me this sad story that he heard about him, something that he went through. So it's like, oh, I said, okay, I know he went through a lot of things when he was younger, but I can't control that, but I can't stay with him. And that was the end of the conversation. And it's like my dad has been really, really quiet. When I came back in last night, he was really, really quiet. He didn't say anything. And he was really upset with me because I was leaving, because my dad didn't want me to leave. But I kept telling him, it's not safe for me to live here. I can't live in the same city. Well, if you're leaving, you just can leave. I said, no, Dad, I can't. I said, you're worried about stuff and you're worried about a house. I said, but what about your daughter? What if you don't have me at all? And I had to bring it to him that way for him to understand. And I still don't think he really understands, because he's like pushback.
Absolutely. And what people don't understand is when you go into the threat zone of the narcissist, that's very serious because if you cause a narcissistic injury, that can be very intimidating for the narcissist. Narcissists usually don't know how to deal with loss. They don't know how to deal with hurt. And a lot of times they done dealt with so much rejection, abandonment, hurt, and abuse until they are very violent when it comes to their being injured. So let me see what we have here on Latrina. We're talking, hey Renee, how are you? We're talking about the narcissist threat. I want you all to comment. Gail is talking about how she was threatened to the point she had to disengage the relationship or the situationship. And she had to leave it for her own safety. And you know what, Gail? I am glad that you're not going to stay in that vicinity that you and your son is leaving. Karen, that can be some serious stuff based on, and she believe he is a vulnerable covert. Talk about the vulnerability that she's in, being threatened by the narcissist, and how serious that can be.
Gail,
Hello, Renee.
Apostle, this is not being exaggerated at all. If you check my back chat, I left you a little bit of important information. This is a demonic global quality. It's amazing how the person I divorced is just so much like the one that you're getting rid of. Now, there's something that you're probably already aware, but let me make it clear. The most dangerous time with a covert, fragile narcissist, that's what I started with, is just before you leave and just after. When you give them the biggest narc injury of all, which is leaving, rejection, he's already doing the exact same things that the person I got rid of 2 years ago. They run around doing the smear campaign and playing the world's smallest violin. Poor me, my childhood, I went through such horror. They're out there playing the victim. Your job is multiple, keeping you and your son safe. I heard you say something about going back to the house. Did I hear that?
No, she had to go back to the storage to get her things, but she didn't.
To the storage. Oh, okay. I just back chatted you my phone number because I have several more things to tell you off camera, but no, you don't go back because you nailed it right. He is snowing your dad and anyone who will listen. They have the demonic gift of persuasion. They seem so very believable. I don't care what their horrible story was. There are too many other people who have been abused and misused and touched inappropriately, but they're not out there denying accountability for their actions. They're not manipulating, lying, controlling, and most of all, being violent. These are adult toddlers. They may have the chronological age, but they are emotionally arrested in their development. So their response to a situation is extremely basic and generally violent. They will do things in a rage and not even remember what they have done. He is going to lie, pardon?
I went through that a lot. He would do things and it would be like he wouldn't even realize or remember. And I'm like, you did that. And it was just really horrible. But my son is grown and he already lived in the other city and he just came to help me get my things. I already had grown children, so
excellent.
Well,
Excellent.
you know
after we're
what,
with them with the children.
Gail,
And
hold on a minute. We have some people too on YouTube that have experienced this threat with the narcissist, and some of them had to disengage as yourself. And I'm telling you, the narcissist threat, when the narcissist threatens you, if you have a malignant narcissist like Gail has, and usually you'll know he's malignant. Why? Because there's been some physical violence. There's been psychological torment and trauma. There may be even some devastation with the children, or they may be very hostile to your family. Could you mute your mic? Thank you so much. There may be some hostility to the family. You may have noticed that they did smear campaigns on your job, smear campaign to your family, to your friends. And beside the physical violence, after they've beat you physically, they seem very apologetic, promise not to do it. When they get angry, they do it again, and then they tell you they can't help themselves. And you ask for therapy. They go to therapy, but they don't stay in therapy. They only go to therapy so you want leave or want them to leave, or call the police and make a police report. Anytime there's physical violence, always have a hard copy. Even if nothing is done, always have a hard copy. This will help you in a court situation that Gail is going through. Gail is going through a court situation. And when the narcissist is taking you through court situation, we're going to do a video on court situations, how narcissists handle the court situations, because a lot of time the narcissists want to be patient, weigh you out and keep you using money until you don't have a lot of money. And they know that you didn't start off with a lot of money. Then the narcissist hit you with the big one. When your money is gone, then their lawyers got all kind of sightings and that they rage against you because you don't have the money to fight. And that's why I was telling Gail, Karen, to utilize her lawyer, no longer talk to his lawyer. And she said she wasn't, because the lawyer never should have called her in the first place. It should have been lawyer to lawyer. When you are dealing with the threats of the narcissist, listen to him. If the narcissists have abused you physically, abused you psychologically, and you keep calling the police, this narcissist is able to carry out a threat because they do not consider you leaving on your own. You consider property. They consider that you belong to them. And just like a toaster, you can take this toaster and put it anywhere you want to. Why? Because you don't consider that toaster as having any emotions, any kind of decision-making processes. And that's the way the narcissists consider you. And the narcissist is very, very offended when you make decisions concerning them, like leaving. They think that's concerning them. Like protecting yourself, they think that's concerning them. Like defending yourself, like holding them responsible. That is a threat to the narcissist, and it could cause violence to a malignant narcissist, psychopath, sociopath, narcissist, even though all of them can have the potential to be violent. Most of them, like the greater narcissist, is usually a thinker, but they can be violent. The lesser narcissist is usually reactionary. They have a tendency to hit out of responding to you because they can't stand it. They don't know who they are. They come into grip with who they are. Karen, you want to comment? And then I'm waiting for the comment. Those of you that are on YouTube, Latrina and Renee, let's give some comments and the effects of the living word. Let's give some comments on the threat zone.
When they're that lower narcissist, they are just what I was talking about, that toddler. The most brutal beating that I received from the ex was in the beginning stages, in the first, I guess, year or so. I never expected it. I have a background where taking care of myself physically is my profession. And this person was 6 inches away from me. They are terribly violent when they are just finding themselves. But they also, even though I take it you've been with him some years, they also, when they lose their car, their toaster, their personal property. You know, that human slave that you are being and have been, all the things that you've had to do. He's an excuse maker, which tells me you've probably been cleaning up his messes. You've been the forte and handling a lot of business and things. He's over there doing service for people because he's known all along who and what he is. He may not know that he's a narcissist, but he knows that he's violent. And some of that I didn't remember, I couldn't help myself, is a lie too. Now, some Apostle is absolutely right. Helen Sadler, your destiny helper. She's right about that, okay? They will do, their eyes go black where they dilate out. They've got all that adrenaline flow and the emotions of a 3, 4, 5-year-old in a grown man or a grown woman's body. Men are getting hurt too. So,
Absolutely.
you know, I'm taking this quite seriously. And there is a friend of mine who helps people with domestic violence court testimony. I'll be on the phone with him tomorrow on your behalf. And this is something that I believe that you are taking it seriously because you're here. Okay? Please plug in with all of us. I'm going to make sure that you know when each of us safe creators are having a space on Clubhouse so that you can get fully educated on who and what you're dealing with. Trust your instincts this time, now. Even though you're in a new city, you trust your instincts. You had them before, we all did, and we all ignored them because of our compassion and
Absolutely.
our caring. And we're like, oh no, it can't be that bad. It couldn't be, but he loves me. She loves me. And then they slap you, but I love you and I'm sorry and I forgive. No, they are not even capable of love. But one of the most bitter pills to follow is to understand that not only are they not capable of love, you were never loved in the beginning. You really are just an extension of their property. They can, trigger warning, they can do you great harm to fatal harm and step over your body and say, pass the chicken. If you've got the psychopath or the antisocial personality disorder. I don't know enough about his case, but I know enough about this. He's willing to harm you. And when I was telling you about how this person I got rid of was violent at first, over the years, he grew from his covert self. Okay, he still wound up in the end, even though he was overt, he could be covert. He tried to play the victim. I'm not taking the rap on this marriage, even though I don't know who he was talking to, but he ran around the church accusing me of everything that he was doing. At the end, however, which is where you are, during the 2020 lockdown, he made the mistake of announcing that he thought it might be best to put his hands on me again. Okay? Take this seriously. Watch where you're going, even in a new area. Do not ever go directly home. A few blocks away from home, circle the blocks once or twice, different areas, before you actually go home. I want you also to acquaint yourself with all the locations of any police department or substations. Excuse me. I don't know how big of a city that you are in. Please do not say this because this is on a recording. But know where emergency rooms and police stations are. If you have any doubt, if you're concerned at all, even fire departments, if you think something is wrong, trust your instincts and go straight to a police department or an emergency room and lay on your horn because security and people will come out. Do not go, oh, I'm going to be okay, and try to make it from your car to your house. I'm not trying to scare
Absolutely.
you. I want you
No,
to be aware.
absolutely. And Karen, the reason I'm interrupting is because remember, we're on YouTube too, and they can hear you, but they
Yes.
are commenting on YouTube. And Renee said, you just don't believe that they would do this stuff to you. She said, but they will. Yes, they will, Renee. And it's very difficult. And I think what happens is when you've never encountered a narcissist, to believe someone can have a personality like that and their thought is toward themselves or against you to do evil, many times you think that there must be an explanation. And like Karen said so wonderfully, you keep giving them the benefit of the doubt. But what they said, they mean, and they are. You need to look up the attributes of a narcissist. Look at the 9 traits of a narcissist and why they are that way, and why it's a personality disorder, and why that disorder is not changeable, why that disorder is not reconcilable, why they are continuous in their behavior, and what that continuation in that behavior should mean to you. And what it could mean is dangerous. It's very dangerous. And when you threaten to leave the narcissist, because many times you tell the narcissist you're going to leave, and the narcissist feel that they are empty based on the service that you supply. Some of you give to them financially. Their finances is going to change. You give to them emotionally, sexually. They don't want that to change, and they may be a serial cheater, but you are the primary supply. And the primary supply, when the narcissists have sex or have an emotional connection with the primary supply, is different from every other connection, because every other connection is temporary to the narcissist. They can be easily removed, but he don't want to remove the primary supply because it took a lot of work. It took a lot of energy. So when that supply is threatened, the narcissist only keep himself covered with a temporary supply, which is all the other supply. But the primary supply is a lot of energy. It's not just the narcissist getting all of their fuel from the primary supply. The narcissist expend a lot of energy to the primary supply because it's about imagery, or there wouldn't be a primary supply. They would just have a constant temporary supply. But there's something that is volatile about that primary supply. In the image, in the mind of the narcissist, it rests them. They can rest with primary supply. They can be at ease with the primary supply. They feel like everything is going to be all right with them, with the primary supply, because all other supplies can fail, but the primary supply cannot fail. Why? Because that's a different kind of input to the narcissist. That's a trained input. It's a formidable input. It is an expected input. It's a reliable input. So the narcissist, when they feel threatened by the primary supply, that the primary supply is going to leave, then you know what the narcissist does? They go ballistic. Even though they may be a serial cheater, they may have 20 other supplies. And I have a video talk about the different types of supplies, because some of them are chef supply, some of them are short supply, some of them are emotional supply, some of them are business supply. Every supply that the narcissists have is not an intimate supply, and they meet the need. And when you have a non-sexual or non-intimate supply, the narcissist won't sleep with that supply, because that is not the purpose of it. And so when the narcissist threaten that primary supply, that's just like premium. That's like premium gas, platinum, gold, diamond. That's the primary supply. And like Gail is a primary supply. It is very dangerous in her situation because she took a lot of work. And you know what, Karen? Geneva says, she said, so I left and he stopped hoovering me completely. Can I now be assured that he has completely forgotten about me and I am not in danger. Absolutely not. Karen.
Amen.
Yeah, talk about that,
was
Karen.
I was saying the exact same word. Absolutely not. The
Absolutely
fact
not.
that you're not being hoovered right now only means maybe he's narc injured. He's running after other supply and doing things and out there being buck wild. But rest assured, when he gets a narc injury, when things don't work out, when he's sitting around just having time to think about it, they'll go up and hang off. I didn't hear from the ex for 3 months.
3 months.
He ran around the island just going buck wild. But once he ran off everyone telling the same bunch of lies and stories, and she did this, she that, and that's what's going on right now. You are taking the rap. He's telling everyone he meets, including strangers, that everything that he actually did to you, he's telling all of them that's what you did to him.
Absolutely.
They all play that. I'm a victim. She cheated. She lied. She left for no reason. You know, she was abusive. I didn't tell anybody, but she was. Whatever they did, that's what you're doing, plus a little bit extra.
Absolutely.
They can pop up 6 months, a year, 2 years. No, you act with carefulness. Watch your back.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely. Keep on going, Karen.
Okay, yeah, what I was going to say is they are predictable yet unpredictable. And by that I mean, just when you think it's safe, please, if you are in the same area as that person, I'm asking you as a friend, as an experienced person with somebody who ignored me for the last year and a half and then stalked me like nobody's business. Do not return to anywhere this person knows you to go. I'm talking new everything. New hairdresser, new restaurant, gas station, stores, even a church.
Yeah.
You need to be nowhere you can be easily found. They will go quiet and give you that false image. I'm not going to bother you. It's safe. You
And
don't
then
make
show
an
up.
assumption.
Absolutely.
You don't live in fear, but you be prepared.
Absolutely. And you know what, Karen? Geneva said, I didn't know that. Absolutely, Geneva. Just because he's not bothering you, he's quiet because he probably have hooked another supply. And remember, new supply take energy. So even though it's not primary supply, all supply take energy. So in the beginning, the narcissist expend energy. She said he lives a block over. She said, and I never see him, which I'm on purpose avoiding everywhere he may be. But that doesn't mean he's not seeing you, because you're not seeing him. And maybe he don't see anybody with you. You got this regime going on, so he don't feel threatened right now, so he don't want to come back right now. But usually the narcissist will hoover and see. If you're not seeing anybody, if you seeing somebody, all of a sudden he will show up. We have a VIP. Karen, who is that VIP that have showed up? Karen.
We have Esme. Esme, welcome to the stage. Yes, I know Esme as well from what is it? From Clubhouse here.
Oh,
Esme,
good.
welcome to the stage. Let us know what's going on with you. What's happening?
Hiya. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hiya. I think you probably remember me. I was on here like quite a while back. Probably about 6 months. Yes. And I was talking at the time. I was talking about a female narcissist in my life. And she came, for those who didn't hear that particular conversation, she came from an abusive family background. Now, her involvement with me came through a flatmate at campus, and in this interaction with her, with this narcissist, she was the kind of person who had no problems using people and then discarding them afterwards, and very publicly at that as well. And in all of this, I found her, in my experience with her, I found her really violent, like verbally and emotionally violent, very manipulative, very controlling in people who were around me, yet she found me with a life of my own, and very forceful in what she wanted to get.
Yeah.
And the one that particularly impacted me was her intrusiveness in my work and social life, especially when I tried to pull away. And this would involve her trying to, at one point, trying to share my property, as in land, with me and my partner, as well as getting into my personal life, pretending to help as a way to hook in. And then she tried to complicate my life. She did, but she's been chased away, asked to leave. She's had police sort of talk to her, and she's had all of that. But I don't know if there's something going on with her, or, well, according to everybody else, it's a mental health issue with her in particular. And she also caused, her intrusiveness in my relationship created a vacuum in her own relationship. So she started having problems. And from what I know from people around who sort of tell me what goes on with her life, she's heading for divorce, and there's a lot of domestic violence in her life now with her husband. And in all of this, you'd be surprised to find that she's looking to me as a person to come and save her, as in to come and stay with me and all of that, as a reprieve. And what bothered me about this is that she would ignore all her family who live in a country that's not that far away from her. And she probably has 8 siblings. She would ignore all of them and her parents, and then come to me. And so when I refused, she just creates smear campaigns at my work and in my social circle. So it never stops. It's like a crazy. She's okay. I'm in a different place right now in my mind. I'm more settled in my mind, and I sit back and watch. But I'm not trying to pretend that nothing's happening, because that would be quite silly of me, considering what she's done in the past. So that's where I am with my issue.
Okay, if she have mental illness, that can be very concerning, because if she have mental illness, she can be very dangerous, because she may feel like your property is hers, and she may feel like you are hers. Even if there's not an intimate relationship, sometimes people with mental illness connect with relationships that care for them, and they are threatened by other people. Like they may be threatened by your boyfriend or your husband, and so they feel like they are in the way and they need to move them out of the way. And so that can be a very dangerous, a very threatening situation, especially when you can't get rid of her. And she have family, but she don't look to that family like she's looking to you. She's looking to you like you belong to her, and she is connected with you. And so everything that connects with you becomes a threat. Every person that cares about you becomes a threat, because she takes ownership. Unfortunately, when a mental illness, if she's not on medications, she's not seeing a psychiatrist, she's not seeing a therapy, she is a loose cannon that can explode at any time. And if sometimes the mental ill, when they feel like you are not listening, rather than to lose you, sometimes they would rather take you out. And they feel like taking you out, then you'll always be with them, because nobody else can have them. Have you?
That's crazy.
That's crazy. Yeah, but that's crazy, but that's very volatile. And that can happen. And it's unfortunate. So if you can, you need to go get a court order against her, so you can
protect. She's got those.
Okay, but then you need to get it enforced. It is not enforced if she keep coming around. And they can lock her up, because if she keep coming around against the court order, then some actions can be done to her, and maybe involuntary sanctioning can be done to put her in a facility.
Okay.
Because that is illegal. When it's a court order, that is a judgment, and that is a legal sanction against her. She cannot come around you like that when there is a court order. But what you got to do, if you don't enforce it, they won't know and they can't enforce it.
Okay.
Yeah, and you need to do it immediately because that can be a very dangerous situation.
Apostle Helen, may I add to that this is the holiday season in America. I'm not sure where you are, if there's any holiday events this time of year, but people are drinking more, they are unbalanced, they have family issues, they have mental issues. We are not trying to be alarmist. If you think about it, think about all the news that you are hearing. So many cases make national, so many cases don't even make national. I think they say it's within every 3 days, a woman is losing her life to domestic violence.
Even greater than that. It's greater than that. It's within, so. Yeah, it's greater than that. It's within like every 12 to 14 hours, a lady lose her life. Yeah.
It is much more serious. Since 2020, more people have developed and mental health issues have deteriorated and more violence is happening because the world has changed. People cough or sneeze, everyone panics, and with good reason to a certain degree, but people are unbalanced. As a paramedic, I took people to the hospital who had been assaulted. The one thing that they all had in common was they were surprised, and the other thing was they had a feeling but didn't act on it.
They didn't act on it.
Apostle is not being alarmist to anyone that is listening. She's nailing it. I have worked in law enforcement, executive protection, co-owner of my own company, and a paramedic, all in a major Northern California city. People's nature is exactly what she is describing.
Absolutely.
Only now it's worse and more intense. And I'll land my plane.
That is so true, Karen. That is so true. And see, with this lady is just having some mental illness because Emmy, you talked about her before, and she seemed to get worse. She's worse now, and she's still doing some of the same things. So, Emmy, you need to enforce the sanctions that they have against her. And you can do that. And because the judgment has already been set, they will have to do something. They will no longer be able to ignore this. We have been on, Karen, for 65 minutes. So we've been over a little bit out over an hour. So we have 15 more minutes before we close this sessions. And Geneva, I am glad that you know that just because he has left and is quiet, that is not over, that you need to take all the precaution that Karen has said. And Karen, it do sound alarming, but it's so true what we're talking about.
Very much so. We need to take it seriously. So many women, because of that trauma bond and being in love with an imposter, the person that you're in love with does not even exist.
It does not even exist. Absolutely.
And women are getting violent too. So men are not out of this. I have one gentleman that was in my room. He's lost 3 male family members to violent wives. Okay? So this is very, very real, what we're talking about. There's a reason why we are putting these hours in. Look at the hour, the time, and here, Helen Sadler, your destiny helper, is here.
Right.
Because she's dedicated to trying to help us get free and break the cycle of abuse, break the Stockholm syndrome. You are addicted to to chemicals in your brain from the push-pull. Anyone that is still there with a violent person, you are taking your life in your hands because you never know when they are going to snap.
Absolutely.
Fiends,
But
the way Miss Gail said.
listen to this, Karen. He told her he doesn't backtrack and that she's the worst woman he's ever had. So she believes him, and she said her heart is free because she believes he won't come back. That I wish that you could lock that in, baby girl, but a lot of times that's not true. A lot of times
they'll tell you the opposite of what you're not worth anything at all.
Yep.
He's lying. He's lying.
Absolutely. And as far as him not coming back, they always come back for supply. They always come back. And when they don't have it, you think you don't come up, you will come up. So the best thing to do is while you discard it, Geneva, is to build yourself up. Positive affirmation. If you're a believer, go to church, get in the word, get around believers. Strengthen yourself, strengthen your mind, strengthen the essence, the core essence of who you are. Because if he come back around again and you've done that, a Hoover will not work. Nothing he does will work. No threat will work. No false love will work. Because there are a lot of times they come back vulnerable, telling you they made a mistake. I realize that you're the only one I love. Being away from you made me realize that, and I'm ready to do everything. I'll go to counseling. I'll do whatever is necessary. And that's not true. They just need fuel. It's like a vampire that needs blood. That vampire would do anything. She said, yes, God is how I was able to leave and divorce him. Good, Genevas. You are on the road to healing. Stick with these rooms. You know, we got Karen Cluster B, Free Karen. She comes on YouTube. She comes on TikTok. She comes on Facebook, Instagram. Then I'm on all of the same forums. Helen Sadler, your destiny helper. Join us. Keep building yourself and building yourself. Get into a support group like Gail. Gail is coming out. Gail, you're still vulnerable, and know that you're vulnerable. So the things, the last 10 years haven't really hit you yet because you're just coming out. And Esme, you've been in this, enforce the sanctions that is against this girl, because do not take for granted this girl. She's very dangerous. So we are getting ready to conclude. Karen, you want to do final words? Okay, she had to leave. And so, Karen.
I'm so sorry. I was leaving. The National Domestic Violence Hotline number is 1-800-799-7233. 1-800-799-SAFE, as in Sam, Adam, Frank, Edward, like a bank safe. I'm going to leave it in the chat. I'm going to put it on the live. People, do not take your life and your safety for granted.
You know what, Karen?
Help. Call them. Tell no one in your immediate area, because you don't know who they have made flying monkeys out of.
Absolutely. Now, you know what, Karen? Listen to what Molly Moreau said. She said, don't take him back. He's already planning how he's going to hurt you next. And that's usually the case, isn't it, Karen?
Very much so. They sit around having grand fantasies of what they're going to do when they're out with these other people that they're tricking around with. They wind up getting narc injuries. Sometimes they run up against another narcissist. When all else fails, everything is your fault. Yeah. They can be in a problem with someone else. Well, if you hadn't left me, I wouldn't have been in this position. It is your fault.
Yeah.
Now, they're fooling around with some trashy person. I would know whenever the narc ran out of money, because he'd be beneath our former window, screaming bloody murder at me, going, I hate you. I love you. That's how conflicted they are. They are emotionally arrested. They are violent in their nature. They deny accountability for anything and everything that they've ever done. And you are their emotional dumping ground, emotional whipping boy or whipping girl. They want to blame everything on you. They are literally delusional. They live in an alternate reality and they actually believe their fantasies.
Absolutely.
So take stuff seriously. You can find me here on Clubhouse. I'm doing a lot of marathons between. Now, a friend of mine wants to come up, Apostle. I'm amazed at how many people are here that I know are following me. In fact, Esme, I need you to follow me on the other phone too, so that I can invite you. We had somebody that wanted to come up.
Okay, we can bring them up quickly because we are getting ready to end this session, because you know I have an early morning as we usually do on tomorrow. Okay. And it is now, what time is it? It is almost 3 o'clock my time.
Well, you know, Apostle, you have had a very long day.
But listen to this.
I think they maybe hit it by accident.
Yes, but listening to this, this is Genevieve. She said, I always feel as if I'm being watched. I don't think those feelings are fake. You're probably being stalked and don't know it. She said, I'm so glad that I'm on this live. And Molly said, girl, exactly. You are being watched. Absolutely. Yes. I agree with Molly. She said, please don't ever forget me. I'm surrounded by narcs. Oh, Lord, we will not. She says that I fear every day somebody is going to kill me. You don't fear that. You don't fear, because that energy draws that to you. That's negative energy. Molly, you're going to have to change the way you think by getting around positive people. Get around a support group. If you come to these rooms, a safe room, all rooms are not safe. All information is not safe. But if you come to these rooms, we have effective communication. We have Cluster B Free Karen. We have Dr. Carmen Bryan. We have the T on NPD, Telsha. If you come to these rooms, these are safe rooms. We have Bridget Griffin, the other side of trauma, coming on. All of these rooms are safe for you to build yourself, and you need to build your mind. You need to build the way you think. And we even go to the imagination where all of the imageries are formed. And when these imageries are formed, this is what puts forth in your forefront or your consciousness, where you take and turn that over and over. And the only reason you're afraid because you're surrounded by narcs. You need to demagnetize. You need to get other magnets to you. Pull other strength to you. Pull other ideology to you. Pull other imagery. So the real in your mind can play out the strength in your life. And that was from Molly, Karen. So Karen, introduce who we have.
Karen. Okay, Pota. This is Pota. Sonatus, this is the clubhouse name. Pota, let us know your story.
Well, you know, I grew up in an environment that fostered generational narcissism. Where it began, I don't know. But I know where it has culminated and the freedom that I'm experiencing while duly, you know, distancing myself from other harms and other systemic problems. The breaking the narcissism has been key as well. And what's validating is coming into a physical space or a meta space and knowing what it feels like to be in proximity to things that are a threat to narcissism. Obviously, well, not so much so obvious, but most recently I have had experiences with people who who to my sensories at all levels, the way they smell, the way they walk, the way they move, what comes out of their mouth when they speak, and being able to detect very quickly the signs of narcissism have caused me to change a behavior that has followed me throughout my life, which is really trying to engage in dialogue and engage in some type of verbal communication with a person who is tethered to, committed to this character trait. And so that has been frustrating, but also freeing to know that it is not my duty, it's not my responsibility to initiate that kind of dialogue because, um, I have failed to be able to bring anything positive and also introduce myself to harm, actually, in trying to have open communication with a person that is just not interested in detaching themselves from the narcissistic traits. So, I do think that I have observed that effective communication uh, it represents almost a nuclear threat, if not a categorically nuclear threat to narcissism and a narcissistic personality. I've recognized that in how that is just been proven true at so many
Yeah,
levels.
exactly.
Pocha,
Pocha,
go ahead.
listen to the.
Too many to begin to um, uh, even name in this space at this point. But for everything you've heard me testify about before, Karen, to what I'm experiencing in real time today, in this very early moment of the morning, the communication pieces that is not something that a narcissist wants, especially one who wants to be able to maintain the safe space to perpetuate the harms of narcissism.
Yeah,
You
and
are absolutely right,
but
Pocha.
Karen, let me say this because Pocha said something, and Molly was saying that she said that it's not that simple. She said, "I wish you all would not make it seem so simple." And Geneva said, "I don't live in fear, but I remain aware of my surroundings. Individuals such as myself has helped her tremendously." Then Molly said, "My thoughts don't change the actions of others. All I can do is remain aware and educated and protect myself." And then Kizzy say, "I am in the same situation." He said, "But I told her if she come to my house, I will call the police." Molly come back and say, "Yeah, but the police are narcissists." And Lord Muse said, "God bless and cover you all." And want to offer a prayer on this program. She said, "A friend drugged me with a drug she said, given to me. This person is evil." Absolutely. And this is why we're talking about the threats. This is why narcissism is not easy. It's not an easy position. And this is why when we go to the recovery zone and you start, and this not until you get out. Until you get out, you don't go to the recovery zone. While you in, you could keep going to the fight zone. So you have to fight and keep fighting and fighting and fighting and strengthening your mind, because as long as you're in it, you have to have a mindset to overthrow it, or you will be conquered. Because something like this will weigh on you emotionally, it will weigh on you psychologically, it will weigh on your will, and it can tear you down, because it's a constant fight. It never ever ends as long as you're in it. Please trust me. Molly, she said, "I'm tired of fighting." You can't get tired of fighting. That's just the way it is. Once you give up, they conquer. And once you conquer, it is a suicide attempt, or you just get beat down till you get wore out and you stop fighting and you give out. And when you give out, you give up. And you can't give up. If there's children involved, you have to fight for you so you can fight for them. And as long as the narcissist is in your life, if you get that tired, you may need to consider your options. I have a video called "When the Supply Has Had Enough." And enough is enough. When the supply has had enough, Nobody have to tell you what to do. Nobody have to tell you where to go. Nobody have to tell you anything. It is a finished deal on the inside. And you start making changes on the outside. She said, yes, brain damage, physiological damage, organ damage. Your dreams are thwarted. You can lose your job because you no longer even have the ability to work. This can go in every area of your life. It can affect your family where you isolate yourself and you no longer feel worthy of any company. You can isolate yourself from your children. You can go into an isolation zone, and that's very, very dangerous because that's a suicidal zone. Because you think, why fight? Why live? Why keep going on? I am nobody. I am devalued. And that's the threat of the narcissist, to take your life away. And they still doing what they're doing. They still serial cheating. They still going about their lives while your life quit. You can't let your life stop. You have a right to live your life just like them. Molly, we never said it was easy, but we said victory was very possible. And yes, Cassie, brain damage, if you allow that, it can occur. And that's why Karen and I do rooms like this. This is why Karen and I do programs like this, because me and Karen is telling you we've been through it and that you can overcome it. We know what it's like. Karen was in it for 33 and a half years. Come on now. 33 years of damage. And she bounced back in 3 years, Karen?
Yes, ma'am. First of all glory to the Lord. Second, y'all, please stop trying to handle this all by yourself. I had sense enough to write Apostle Helen at destinyhelper12s as in Sam at gmail.com, explaining my situation. Can you imagine me not able to string a coherent sentence together? I was rambling all over the place. I was in cognitive dissonance, not sleeping much. Of course, he made sure a lot of that. Having a good coach. And for the believers in the audience, going to that word, having a dialogue with my Lord is what gave me supernatural healing. You know, after over 33 years, I should still be over in a corner somewhere in a fetal position. But my determination to survive, getting the best life coach on the planet as far as I'm concerned. There's a few others out there, Dr. Carmen, Queen Telsha, T on NPD, and I'm sure there are other great coaches, but I'm sticking with the crew that I know. We have effective communication on Tuesdays at 7:45 Pacific, 10:45 Eastern every Tuesday. Our daughter, Victoria, has a room on Mondays at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m.
Hold
Eastern.
Hold on, Karen.
You.
Hold on a minute. Molly, hold on, Karen, hold on. Molly, I will not allow you to do that behavior here. Now, you can listen to what can help you, because if you can do it yourself, then do it yourself. Nobody's going to stop you. It seemed like it didn't work already. However, if you want to start your own videos, nobody's going to stop you. If you feel like you have a plan, work your plan. If you want to do step by step on your own, do it on your own. But I'm telling you, everybody else, there is help in these videos. Thousands of people are being helped by these videos. And we're going to continue to help you. We can't help everybody, but those somebodies that we can, Karen, we're going to help them. And we are going down.
Sure.
Yeah, we're going down to the countdown time. Molly, if you want step by step, you need a therapist. This is not something you do on an hour program. Now, you can write me and Karen, and you can bring us on as a therapist. You can write me at destinyhelper12s at gmail.com. She said she's been watching for years. Out of all the people, we don't have thousands. So we don't know why you are not being helped. So it'll be your choice. All right, y'all. I tell you what, this has been so awesome. Geneva's, um, Molly, Kessie, thank you so much. And the rest of you, I'm not calling all of your name, but I really appreciate you being with us. This has been an awesome time. And Esme, Gail, and Polta, thank you so much. And all of y'all that are in VIP, thank you so much for being with us. I will be on again coming live. I know a lot of times I'm not on live. I just do videos. So whenever my schedule allow me, because I travel a lot, I really, really appreciate you being here. Karen, you have been wonderful. I appreciate you being here. Those of you who want to reach Karen, Karen, tell them once again how they can reach you. Karen, are you there?
Yes, I am. I was typing furiously on the YouTube. Yes, you can find me here on Clubhouse. My regular room is Friday, and it starts, let's see, 10, 11, 12. 12 p.m. on Fridays Pacific time, and 3 p.m. Eastern time. Also, I think that's midnight for the UK. However, because of the holidays and people's sleeplessness, and in preparation for Thanksgiving and New Year's and Rosh Hashanah and Kwanzaa, I am running marathon rooms, sometimes for 24 to 48 hours at a time. I am going to sleep. The hand raising is off. It is for when it gets late at night. It's for members only. But I'm providing you guys with conversation and videos to give you insight on all the various components of narcissism, the games they play, the strategies that you can use, how to keep yourself better and collected and get through this situation and come to some decision making. Absolutely. Education is the key. Absolutely. I don't want to see anybody else do more decades like I have. And if you have done decades, let me be the poster woman for getting out. Get yourself a good life coach. Get a therapist when you've had to deal with childhood trauma. I have a friend of mine, Phil Rizzo of Rizzo's Protected Group. He is helping people with court testimony for domestic violence. He has a number of other business concerns. There is a small fee, but I want you to know something. If you are in trouble and you are a domestic violence candidate, he will help you for no charge. Phil has been in Apostle Helen's room. He's been in my room. There is someone, Gail, I really want you to call me. I back-chatted you on this. There is hope for you, especially if you are in a violent situation. And all domestic violence is not physical hitting. There are other things that are domestic violence. So find me on YouTube, Cluster B Free Karen Smith. You can find me on Instagram, Cluster B Free Karen, TikTok, Cluster B Free Karen 2, and a little bit on Twitter, which is under Karen Smith. And I also have Facebook. Pick the icon that is an island. It's Diamond Head from an overview with ocean around it. I have a Facebook group called Cluster B Free Karen. Thank you so much, and I never miss effective communication. That is somewhere you really want to be. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to escort you back to the audience, Polta. Thank you, Apostle Helen, for this forum, this opportunity.
You are so welcome.
Thank you for what you do for all of us. You are tireless in your efforts.
Thank you so much. And Cluster B Free Karen is how you can reach her, especially go to some of her videos, go to the room. She's doing a marathon and there's videos. There is help for you. I look forward to seeing you again. You can write me at destinyhelper12s@gmail.com. destinyhelper12s@gmail.com. Thank you so much, those of you that said you were helped. And I really appreciate you. I thank you so much, Kessie and who was the other person? Was that Geneva's? I really appreciate those statements. Thank you so much, and I'm so glad that you're getting help. Join me on Clubhouse at Destiny Helper, and it's called Effective Communication. I come on Tuesday at 7:45 Pacific Standard Time, and I think it's Central is 9:45, and it may be 10:45 on Eastern Standard Time. Thank you so much. I love you to life. It's almost 4 o'clock here, and I got to get up in a couple of hours. I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Join me live and make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel so anytime I come on and upload videos, you will be the first one to know. I appreciate this moment. Thank you so much, and I'll see you on the next video. God bless.